All right, now away from that, I'm getting right into this conversation that is with Brian Essendi, aka Bank Slave, an artist who has really pretty much also been touted as the founding father of graffiti in Kenya. So Bank Slave, thank you so much for making time for us today.
Right.
You know, the first thing when I saw your name, and I was very curious, why Bank Slave? What inspired that?
So Bank Slave is a name that I coined that is like a rebel of the capitalist system. Mm-hmm. So I've been having it for a long time. When I was anonymous, people used to use the name, and because I've been painting for now 20 years in Kenya and around the world. So that's when I just came out and claimed the name again, and now I'm using it forever.
Okay, right. So not one for capitalism, I see.
Yeah.
You know, something that is always amazing is the progress that you've made.
Right.
You know, when you're in Kibera, and you've done a lot of work in Kibera and Korogosho, Madare as well. You know, a lot of your murals are up there.
Yeah.
So what was it from early on? Like you said, you've been doing it for 20 odd years or so now.
Yeah.
What got you into graffiti? You said, you know what, this is the path I want to take.
So growing up in Kibera was something that, you know, was a plus for me for finding myself. You know, I used to get a lot of beatings sometimes when I used to doodle on walls. And I would encourage other parents to encourage the kids. If they see them doodling, don't say that they're drawing devilish things. They'll find their way. That's the only way they know how to communicate to the parents, and they'll find their way. So for me as an artist, I started out doodling in Kibera, and then, you know, my surrounding there's like a lot of people around there. So you see a lot of things when you're growing up. And for me, it was something that helped me build up. And there are stories that come out of people who are living in Kibera and other slums around the city that kind of like help you to build up on a mural or something. Some people who've been inspiring other people growing up. Like I would look at probably Dennis Oliech when I'm growing up, and I say I want to be a footballer like him. I'm looking at Lupita Nyong'o. I say I want to be a good actress like her. So this kind of like things help me through seeing all these people who are making it from Kibera and making their lives better. Kind of like made me to make murals about such people and such achievements that they made through the years. So
you also went to a fine arts school, I believe, in Buruburu?
Yes, I did, Buruburu Institute of Fine Arts.
Okay, yeah. So did that help? You know, a lot of times when people want to study art, parents are like, okay, so do you really need to go to a school? Am I really paying for this will this be something that when you grow up, you'll be able to live off of? You know, that whole starving artist stereotype, it gets pegged on a lot of young people who want to pursue this path. Yeah. So what would you say to encourage them?
I would say that, you know, they should find themselves first. Like if you were aspiring artists in all angles, if you wanted to be a musician, just give yourself some tests before you go go further in life, because sometimes you might find yourself frustrated because some things you try out and they don't work out for you. I was employed one time, and at that time, you know, I used to have peanuts when I was working, and then there was this event that was called Wapi Words and Pictures. That was artists was coming around, and they used to have events every month. So by then, when I joined Wapi, I got clients who were offering me to paint for them in better prices than I was getting per month where I was working. So from then I just said, you know, this is what I'm doing as my career, and then it built up until where I am. And so just find yourself, if you're strong enough for it, and pursue it, you know, and so that you don't waste time. Because there's like a lot of things. Everyone is growing with the talent, but we are being subdued because of the stereotype or whatever is on you. You have to be a doctor, you have to be an engineer or whoever. Yeah. So when you see a kid having the traits of being a talented person, you know, support them. Even if they're going to be a doctor, they're going to be the best doctors, because art is the foundation of that.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Something else that we've seen through the years, through a lot of your other pieces that you've done around the city, is the spirit of activism and actually coming out to talk about messages which you can chant, you can write, you can say, but also just that visual display that strikes you. You know, sometimes Kenyans will wake up in the morning and see your art, and it will strike a chord. It will be something that goes to serve a message and carry that on. What has that been like? You know, especially being able to speak about strong messages through art. What are some of the messages that you most strongly speak about when you do these murals?
So murals are mostly targeted to the audience who are going to like them and have them as something that they can move with. Because this is a mural that you're painting in the city. Everyone is going to be passing there every day and looking at this mural. So it has to be something that people can like, people can take and make it their own. So we go through a lot of strains to try to make a nice artwork that is going to be liked not only in Kenya but all over Africa and all over the world. Because right now, you know, we're painting like East Africa right now because we've been painting for a long time, and through that, you know, there are other artists who are coming up, and it's a good thing that we are, you know, like inspiring other artists to start onto this street art, because it's not like it's new. It's a new art form in Africa. So we're still bringing ourselves to it as well.
I mean, you're right. Of course, you know, when we're sitting in traffic for hours, we're looking at your art and we're absorbing it and painting our own sort of pictures with it as well. So if we talk about, like you mentioned, you know, we're talking about the whole African continent, but you've also been to so many places through your art. You've been to Australia, Europe, and other regions within Africa as well. So what has that been like, and what kind of collaborations have been the most fulfilling for you?
All right. For me, you know, being like an activist artist, you know, I've gotten to paint places like Denmark and Germany, Poland, places like Australia, with that kind of activism type of art, just to show that art can be used to bring change in the way it's powerful in its own way. And I've had workshops as well in schools in different countries just to teach about art and share my skills to the kids out there. So for me, the collaborations have been great. You know, I get to get better as an artist. I get to see other countries in the world where they've done, the cities and their city councils have done really nice artworks on the cities, and that kind of like got me here to just like inspire the artists to like their city and their spaces to be better with the arts.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, even as we continue this conversation, I'd like to tell our KTN home viewers, thank you so much for staying with us. We will let you go now, but of course we continue this discussion and the Friday briefing on KTN News.
All right.
All right. Well, my next question for you has to do with what the future looks like, because art is always morphing. It's always, you know, there's always new stuff coming in. So when it comes to especially street art, you know, what are the trends that you're seeing now that you're seeing being fused into a lot of the future works?
Right. Mostly in the future, you find like street art is going into advertising, it's going into brands, it's going into clothing. So that's where also I'm going for myself with my Nairobi Fly apparel or clothing line that is going to be there just to clothe people with my artwork. So people are going to be wearing my arts, or whatever, t-shirt and bags and stuff like that. So that's what I'm looking at doing. And for what is going on with other artists around the world is that it's going on vibrant. Every artist is coming on its own way, trying to educate, trying to use the art for bringing social change, you know. And the time for climate change is here. We've seen a lot of forest fires and stuff like that. So this art is used to like just generalize people and polarize people up to where they can help bring their forces together for humanity. Yeah.
That's incredible. Yeah. And recently, of course, December last year, we had you among a lot of other artists in the CBD, and you were painting the zebra crossings and a lot of other infrastructure around that side. What really inspired that and brought that idea to life? Because I believe you took almost a month or two actually to mobilize everything.
Right, yeah. That was fun painting in the city because at the time, you know, we have in the city council, there's like a bunch of nice, cool people who want the city to look as modern as it should. And they approached us and they wanted us to, like, you know, put our skills that we've been painting everywhere else in the world and just bring the skill to the city. That's where I had the chance to do an Eliud Kipchoge in the city, just a collaboration with other artists from Nairobi. And other poets as well were involved. So you find people who are like on other genres of art, they just come together and help the people who are painting in whatever they can. So you find poets just like doing the zebra crossing, you find them helping out, you know, like putting the undercoat base on the walls. And that was something nice I liked the time.
So what has been your favorite piece that you've done so far? Because we've seen such amazing portrait work from you as well when it comes to former US President Barack Obama. We've seen you paint actress Lupita Nyong'o. We've seen so many of these, of course, Eliud Kipchoge as well. So which one was the one that stood out to you the most, that personality that you were able to capture that inspired you the most?
I think all of them have a story towards them. And when I'm doing a painting, I always have to find that satisfaction into it. So most of them, like mostly all of them are my favorites. I can say that this one is favorite than this one because all of them have their own particular story. And I'm gonna do more because there are more artists, there are more people who need recognition, like the boxers, you know, like Zarika needs, you know, like Ojwang needs recognition, you know, and some of the journalists who've been through a lot and are dead right now. Like Ahmed Darwesh needs somewhere to be recognized because of what he's done, and Anjali as well. And a couple of them, you know, Annie Ikua, Janet Ikua, who was championing cancer. Those are people who need recognition. Wangari Maathai as well. So the city is rich of people who have been heroes, and these people need recognition for that. For people who are coming up, the kids who are coming up, they have to have a mentor. So they'll be looking at them and then asking, who's that? And then we are telling them, this is that person who did these things. So that's what I'm trying to do in the next future.
I think that's amazing because you also keep the person's message, their spirit, what they stood for while they lived a life through your art. Right?
Yeah.